Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another plan with me for the week of October the 30th through November the 5th. I am so excited to be back planning the way that I'm used to instead of earlier this month with doing like the review flip throughs. I think it was a good review for myself. But I did miss sort of prepping and doing everything in advance. I feel like that's a little better for me, especially when it comes to like decorating. I am so excited to also start this new type of spread because I really believe I want to believe that I'm going to be more effective if I'm looking at my week as a whole and versus day to day. Now, I think if this works out for me, I can see myself teetering back and forth between dailies and a very small notebook, like the really small me notebook that I've used in March, I believe it was, and this way, because this just seems to be a lot more productive for me. Again, it's something that I'm trying out, and I'll really get a chance to get a good month's run through this. As you'll see me planning, you will see me pausing quite a bit of time. The video is sped up, so you may or may not notice it, especially after I put down these days of the week, which I'm using. You'll see that I sort of paused for a second, a good while, and I'm looking through the numbers. And that's because I figured something wasn't right, and I will have to correct it toward the end of the month. And that is because this month, the month in November would be technically like 5 weeks. So I'm a Monday start. So with the Monday start, it's only the 30th and the 31st from October, and then 5 days of November. However, when you get to the end of November, it ends on like, I want to say a Thursday or a Friday. And I think I still have like the Saturday and Sunday. So that would bring me into like a 5th week. I've never really done a 5th week before. I've typically always done just the last week in whatever notebook that I'm in, and then moving into the new month with just having 4. So this is something that's very different for me. I just realized it, and I will have to go back and adjust it, as need be. These stickers, I'm also really excited to use. I got these from the Dollar Tree. I would say it was probably like a couple of years ago, literally. So I felt like, although it doesn't say anything fall within like the sticker set that you'll see me use, but it reminds me of fall because you got like the pickup truck and the cows and everything, and it just the colors and everything reminds me of fall. So that's why I'm using it, and I've had it for so long. I plan on, and I actually do use the whole one side of it. And I'm also really excited to use just that middle page with the shopping list. I feel like it's going to be so handy. I'm actually really excited about it, and I just hope it works out well. Again, I am not necessarily a fan of the bigger notebooks like this, but if this works for me, then hey, I'm definitely going to continue with it. Again, I just have to figure out how to fit that 5th weekend, especially with food logging as well as logging movement and wellness. I'll just have to go a few pages up from where I initially started in setting this month up in this notebook, and just like allot some space for that. I really don't mind doing it. I'm actually glad I kind of bumped into this because it will require me to think a little bit more ahead of time. So, as usual, I always talk about something when I'm planning, and I've had so much on my mind lately, and Slowing down is something that is important to me. So I'm hoping that this spread kind of caters to me in a lot of ways. I feel like I've heard it all while I've been in the planner community with making your planner work for you and not like you work for the planner. So I'm really hoping that this layout this way, this vertical layout, gives me a lot more ease, less anxiety about what's coming, and I can see everything at a snapshot. So again, really excited about that. But one thing that I wanted to talk to you all about is what this month is. I know I failed to announce it at the beginning, which I'm super shocked at, because normally I do a mass like text and message to everyone that I know. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you all have watched any of my other videos and follow me, then you know that my other job that I work, just like relief work, is at a domestic violence shelter. So it's something that is very near and dear to me. It's something that's the primary, because I literally love my job there and I love the work that I do there. It's something that I can't let go. I have tried numerous times. That's why I'm at the point where I'm just relief work now, because technically I should not be working there, because just my time scheduling and the amount of hours that I pick up, sometimes I find myself splitting myself in half, because if the shelter needs help, then I'll work that, and then I won't pick up at my full-time job. So it's a balance. It's a balance. But I think what makes the balance better for me is the fact that I love the work that I do at the shelter. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about domestic violence, not anything going deep about it, but it is Awareness Month. And the reason why it's near and dear to me is because everyone knows the rate of homelessness in America, and the lack, especially in some states, of the amount of shelters that's available and just help that's available for people who have no housing and that's homeless. But that is even, and this is just my opinion, cut in half when it comes to domestic violence. It's really not a lot of shelters that, are specifically for domestic violence. And I'm not sure why. I know everybody can't be helped, and I know it's limited resources when it comes around these things, but that's the reason why I continue to do the work that I do. And I will always continue to advocate and spread awareness about domestic violence, because I feel it slides under the radar for a lot of reasons. For one, the fact that it's a cycle, and it's a cycle that is not favorable. And I think, and this is just within my experience, I feel that when you look at like homelessness, I feel people have a much different view. In my experience, the people that I've ran across have a much different view of homelessness in a shelter than domestic violence in a shelter, especially as it pertains to men. A lot of men will not come into domestic violence shelter for either being ashamed or someone talking about them or downing them, because they're choosing not to retaliate or respond in a violent way. And oftentimes it is situations where men are abused, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I think it just gets underlooked because of that role and the persona and the expectation of what a man looks like, what they should take and what they should do. So I encourage anybody, if you know someone, if you know a female or a male that is struggling or in a relationship that could potentially or is violent or abusive, to handle them with care. I feel like if you walk away from this video, I hope the one thing that sticks with you is the support. And a lot of family members, especially if you have a family member and you've watched them be in an abusive situation for years on end, and the person has not left, the love turns into frustration and anger. And I think because loved ones love their loved one that's getting abused so much, the love and the desperate plea to leave comes out differently. And sometimes people that are in abusive relationships get an ultimatum from the people that they love, so to speak. So even family members are, well, if you're going to continue to be with them, don't call me the next time they beat you, or I can't be involved in this. And yes, it's definitely a person's choice whether or not they want to interject themselves in that situation. And I always say it can be a very dangerous situation, but I also think it's misunderstood why a person stays in an abusive relationship. Oftentimes, they're broken down. They're either threatened. Their loved ones are either threatened, if you leave, I'm going to do this and that to the people that you love. Even your kids, if you leave, I'm going to get you deported. If you leave, I'm taking the kids because you don't have no money to provide for them. Who's going to believe you? You're a man. Who's going to believe that I beat you? Or a lot of times men go through emotional abuse just like females do. And it can be told to them that no one will believe them because they're a man. So if you know someone who's in a domestic violence situation, try not to give them ultimatums. Try not to push them. Don't down them for their choices because it's a process. It was not overnight that they got in this situation, and it's going to take longer than overnight for them to come out of it, and even the healing afterwards. It takes an extreme amount of courage, but also support from others to decide to leave a situation, because when a person decides to leave an abusive situation, that's when it comes the most dangerous. So oftentimes people will struggle with that. People struggle with that for self-esteem reasons. If nothing else, out of fear, because if you've been with a person for so long and they've gaslighted you and they've told you so many things that are negative, you may feel, why leave? Because who is going to want me after this? How am I going to be a good mother after this? What type of mother am I now? I've seen people go through legal situations because they're choosing to leave in abusive relationships, where oftentimes someone's kids are getting took from them because of the situation, even though they're trying to leave. So it is a great deal of things that they're thinking about. I would urge you and encourage you, if you know somebody in a situation like that, talk to them and support them. Be that person that they can call. So if they do decide to leave, at least it's someone that they have for support, and talk to them about if they're thinking about leaving. Preparing in that sense, like getting a bag together, trying to make plans, making a designated spot for certain things like important paperwork, plans, money, different things like that. Everything takes a process. Everything in life is a process, and this is no different than anything else. So love and support is always needed. And just like I always say on my channel, be gentle with yourselves. That is something that we need to extend to people who are in abusive relationships, because you may not know the totality of it. You may not know the things that that person has said or done to them other than looking from the outside. So be as supportive as you can. Always remember, someone is there to support. It is some support. Oftentimes you do have to look for resources, but it is support that's available. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you all are excited as I am about my new layout and just the adventure and the fun that I'm having with using these notebooks. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.